Live from Lagos, this is Lunchtime Politics. I'm Jeffrey Uzon. Let's take you through the world of politics and what's going on in the polity in the next 30 minutes. But let's bring you first the headlines. Edo State Governor Okpebholo to set up a panel of inquiry to investigate why 14 House of Assembly members were denied inauguration in 2019 after their election victory. President Bola Tinubu returns to Abuja after attending extraordinary joint Arab-Islamic summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, focused on the current situation in the Middle East. And the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Ojo, says the federal government is working seriously to tackle the nation's security challenges. Yesterday, we witnessed this. A new man is in charge of Edo State, taking oath of office and the mantle of leadership in that state, becoming the state's 6th democratically elected governor. His name, Monday Okpebholo. He took oath of office alongside his deputy, Dennis Idahosa, at a colorful ceremony at the Samuel Okpebholo Stadium in Benin City, the Edo State capital. After taking his oath of office, the governor announced the formation of a panel of inquiry to probe the exclusion of 14 lawmakers from the 7th session of the State House of Assembly.
Today, you are officially giving me the mandate to preside over our dear state as governor for the next 4 years. Your welfare, the welfare of our citizens is a top priority for us. To achieve this, we shall implement programs carefully outlined in my 5-point agenda, designed to grow a robust economic growth and improve the lives of our people. Recall that on the 17th of June, 2019, 14 members of Edo State House of Assembly were denied inauguration into the 7th Assembly. It was a big blow to our democracy. My administration is setting up a panel of inquiry to investigate the remote cause of this incident.
So apparently that echoes the sentiment of the people of the state in that particular inquiry that he wants to set up for those lawmakers that were not inaugurated in the House of Assembly. Let's also tell you that he has approved a lot of things has happened, so let's take it in bits. He has approved the dissolution of executive of all boards, agencies, and parastatals in Edo State Public Service with immediate effect. All permanent secretaries appointed from outside the state public service or civil service and all political appointees are hereby relieved of their appointments. Those are the words or their words in a statement released by his Chief Press Secretary, Freddy Tua. He said all affected appointees are to hand over all government property in their possession to the most senior public officer in their respective ministries, department, and agency. Earlier, the governor had ordered the immediate and indefinite suspension of all collection of revenues in Edo State, especially at the motor parks and others, until further notice. The governor also instructed the State Police Commissioner to arrest anyone who flouts the order. Governor Okpebholo says he would review the issues surrounding the collection soon and decide on the way forward. So it appears a lot of action, but there's one thing that maybe may have skipped the attention of the media. Yesterday said in one of the paragraphs of his statement, or one of the statements he made, that he will support the decision of the federal government to uphold the Oba of Benin as the exclusive owner of the returned artifacts that were looted away by the British colonial forces during the Benin massacre of 1897. So a lot of pronouncement. That's why we call it the Day One pronouncement of Monday Okpebholo. Okay, let's move from Benin City, the Edo State capital. Let's head out to the nation's capital, where our president has returned to Abuja from Riyadh, that's in Saudi Arabia, where he attended the joint Arab-Islamic summit. The president, who arrived at Anambra State International Airport on Tuesday night, was received by the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, the APC National Chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, and other top government officials. At the summit, the president had called for an end to Israeli operations in Gaza, saying that the conflict in Palestine has persisted far too long. Those were the words of the president. President Bola Tinubu called for a two-state solution where both Israeli and Palestinians can coexist. All right, we have a conversation that has to do with Anambra State today on the program. And so we will head straight to that conversation. We're being joined by the Commissioner for Information in Anambra State, who joins us via Zoom, Mr. Law Mefo. Mr. Mefo, thank you so much for coming on the program. All right, Mr. Mefo, if you can unmute so we can hear you. Thank you for coming on the program. If you can hear me, Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
We couldn't hear you, so now we can hear you loud and clear. So a couple of things we need to touch on. But let's begin with maybe the heavy liftings. The latest write-up by one Mr. Ebuka Onyekwelu, where he was talking about the chairman of Okpebholo local government area, Mr. Franklin Nwadialo, that was indicted by the United States Washington District Court about some wired fraud to the tune of $3.3 million. What you may call a Yahoo boy, allegedly, but that indictment came from the United States. And they have been tying this to the quote-unquote not thoroughness of the Soludo administration to bring people into power that are of questionable character. Remember, allegedly this time. So I would like your response as a government to this particular issue.
Thank you. And I also thank you for acknowledging that this is an allegation. And let me start this way. We read about it just the same way other Nigerians read about it in the social media. And the United States of America, their jurisdiction may be slightly different from ours, but there is one thing that stands them out, and that is the presumption of the innocence of an accused until the contrary is proved. And that puts a constraint on us to make any categorical statement on the allegation of arrest of the local government chairman in the faraway United States of America. We don't have all the facts. We read about it, and we are still digging. We want to know precisely what happened, and we totally trust the U.S. Legal system, their processes of establishing criminal responsibilities, investigation, and everything. We know that by the time they are done with their investigations, and they apportion criminal responsibility to the local government chairman, if indeed the allegation is true, then we will be in a position to make a statement because by then we would have all the facts. And we are interested, apart from the fact that he is a citizen of the state, he is also a government, a local government official, and local governments in a state are all part of the governmental structure of the state. So we can't turn a deaf ear or a blind eye to the issue concerning any local government chairman. And that said, we also, like I have already acknowledged, we trust the U.S. to do the right thing. It's different from our own experience here, where people who are accused are presumed guilty in Nigeria before their guilt is even proved. And people suffer humiliation seriously for offenses they never really committed. The U.S. is not like that. And okay. I would appeal that we de-escalate the media trial until we all have all the facts. We don't know whether he's guilty or not.
Well, it's not a question of media trial. This is a public servant. It's been indicted by just hold on, Mr. Mefo. It's been indicted by Washington District Court for $3.3 million internet fraud that occurred between December 2019 to 2023. And being a local government chairman under that government, it's important to bring it to the fore without doing any form of media trial, which is why we're asking for the explainers from the government, which is one of the reasons why we got you here to put that explanation. But pending when that happens, is there no, are you doing anything, or you're just going to leave it as it is until you hear something concrete? Is it going to step aside? What exactly is the thinking of the government this material time based on the information available to you?
You said whether we are doing what? I didn't get the last part.
I'm just wondering what the government is doing at the moment. What is the thinking of the government pending how this snowballs or plays out eventually? What is the government thinking of doing? Because some people say, oh, suspend him from his position, or let the House suspend something, just for the integrity of the process. But what is the thinking of the government besides just reading the theme that is going on?
I said that before, that we don't have all the facts. And we can't take a definite position now until we have all the facts. And we are not aware that he has been sentenced. And if his guilt has been established and he is sentenced or let go, then the government will take a position in line with the law. There are extant laws establishing this. But one thing I want us to know is that there is no vacuum. There is a deputy chairman. We call them mayors. There is a deputy mayor who has been acting in the absence of the principal, the chairman. So that will continue until the whole process of investigation, possible trial, and everything is completed. Then the government will take a decision on what next step to follow. But you can be sure that what will happen will be as prescribed by the law.
All right, just one more thing before we go. So let's contextualize this as, is he in Nigeria? Is he in the U.S.? Has he been arrested? What exactly is, what do you know?
You know, what we read is that he was arrested in the U.S., right? And we also know that he's not in the country. You know, these two I can establish. He is not in the country. We read that he has been arrested. We don't have any direct contact with him or the people who arrested him. We are following based on information available to us in the public domain, just like it's available to you also.
Okay.
So that is the much I can say. I cannot confirm anything at this stage because, like I said, we don't have all the facts.
Okay, I'll leave it at you don't have all the facts, but you're a government. So if you're an official of government, like a local government chairman was arrested, I expect that in the next few hours, you should be able to know what exactly is going on. There's family, there are friends, there are office connect. I'm sure he told his people where he was traveling to. So there are basics housekeeping things you can do to find out where he is. So, but I'll let you off on this particular one, but it's important.
Let's say that he's in the U.S. You know, that much has been established. Yes, he's not in Nigeria, he's in the U.S.
Okay, just that you don't know whether he's in custody of the United States system or not. Okay, let's move on to other.
I don't have that fact.
Okay, let's move on to the issue of the economy of the state. I'm looking through your numbers here, some good, some bad, which I would like you to respond to. I can see that the government has grown its IGR between 2022 to 2023 by 24%, from 29 billion to 36 billion. And I also see that the dependency on FAC is still very high. So 76% high dependency on FAC. That simply means that without FAC, there's not going to be Anambra State practically by these numbers at the end of the day. And I'm looking at the numbers to see, when you look at the IGR generated, which is about 2.2 to 3 billion naira every month, coming to about those 36 billion. I see that the operating expense of the state is about 66 billion within the year under review 2023, based on what is available from budget. So if you can generate 36 billion and your IGR is 36 billion, and then your operating expense is 66 billion. That means you're in deficit. What is the government doing to ramp up the IGR as aggressively as possible? I know there are tax policies and all of that, but this is a question we always ask every state, to begin to look away from the federal government. So what practically is Soludo, the governor, doing to reposition the fortune of the state? I'm happy he has an economic background. 2 years down the line, going on 3, we need to see something a bit more aggressive. Don't you think so?
Yeah, well, for me, the figures are not bad. They are not.
Hello, Mr. Mefo. Oh dear, just about when he just started responding to my question, I just wanted him to react to the finances or the fiscal performance of the state. Mr. Mefo, you can go ahead. I understand we have you back.
We are working. I don't know.
Maybe you can just start to respond yet again, because the connection didn't allow us to hear what you were saying.
Yes, I said that the figures are not too bad. There has been remarkable achievement in the last 33 months, more or less, that Professor Soludo took over the reins of power in Anambra State. And we are not where we should be yet. I must admit that. And efforts are being made to rejig the system, rely more on digital processes, electronic methods, and all that, to complement the efforts of humans in making sure that we ramp up the overall IGR of the state. Where we are really looking at is 10 billion. We have to we believe that Anambra has the potential of attaining 10 billion IGR every month. It still hovers between 3 billion and between 3 and 4 billion. And a lot is being done to ensure that we move further up. And between now and the end of this year and the first quarter of 2025, we believe that the figures we have at the moment should at least double, if not triple. I've already mentioned that there are methods being put in place. They have to. We want to rely on digital processes. We want to rely on every method that will complement the humans that do the work. That is not to say that we are relying on the manual methods entirely for now, but we need to really do more in that direction.
All right, Mr. Mefo, if I may just come in just for a moment. My apologies. All I hear is optimization. That's all I hear. I can also tell you that your state is in debt of 30 billion domestic, 100 million foreign debt, which comes to about $200 billion. So the debt is huge. From your operating expenses and your capital expenditure, without FAC, is a bad case. Even if there's an improvement in the FAC, it's not enough. In fact, it's far away from enough. You're doing 2 to 3 billion, not even 4. 4 is a spike on certain months, but the average is 2 to 3 billion every month. So my question, what you're telling me is more of optimization, optimizing the system so that you can do more of putting more people in the tax net to generate revenue. But that's an estate with industrial potential. Nnewi, for instance, or Nicha, for instance. What are you doing to ramp up industrialization aggressively? That's actually my question, not optimization.
Yeah, well, I didn't get your last question. I told you that our figures on the average hover between 3 and 4 billion. But you're saying it is between 2 and 3 billion. I don't know where you're getting your figures from. I talked about averages, and I just have to insist, because that is the truth. It is between 3 and 4 billion. And the measures being put in place is to at least double that figure before the end of the year 2024 and the first quarter of 2025. And we are being aggressive about it. The picture you are painting is that of gloom. It's not quite correct. If it's as gloomy as you have painted it, the government will not be doing so much. You need to visit Anambra and see the level of development, infrastructure programs, everything. With as little as we had prudent economic management. For which
Mr. Mefo, my apologies because of time. Yet again, please, let's be clear. It's not a question of gloom. I'm telling you figures. Your state is in debt of 200 billion, at least. I also mentioned, no, just hold on. Just hold on. It's in debt management office. That's why we got our figures. And then I have acknowledged that the IGR has grown by 24%. I have acknowledged that fact. But I'm saying the IGR is against dependent on fact is nothing really to write home about. And it's not unique to Anambra, it's across board. So we are beginning to ask questions of what the state is doing to increase IGR aggressively. 76% dependent on fact is a lot. That is barely up if the IGR is not available. So I'm saying besides optimizing to get more revenue in terms of your processing and your system, what is the government doing with industrialization? That is Anambra, for God's sake. That is the South, is the hub of industrialization. That's what I'm asking.
You know, the point of, you know, your line is breaking off, and your interest is what I don't get. I can put my finger to what you are saying. I have told you the measures that we are taking and putting in place to ramp up our IGR to double the figures, and that's the answer to it. And I tell you that despite low resources in terms of income from FAC and from IGR, we are doing so much with so little. And if it is as bad as you have painted it, the government should be borrowing. But it is important you put the record straight and understand that in the last 30 months, Soludo has not borrowed a kobo. So if he has not borrowed a kobo and you are saying the situation is so bad, how come he's doing so much with so little, you know, across board? We are aware of the fact that we need to do more in the area of IGR, and the measures are on, and the picture will be...
Mr. Mefo, so that we move on, I was asking about industrialization. I don't think you said anything that I can hold on to in terms of industrialization effort, but it's fine.
I want to clear that idea on industrialization.
No. If you continue to say, just a minute, sir. If you continue to say he didn't borrow, I commend him for not borrowing. And I've mentioned it's not unique to your state, but he inherited liabilities and assets. That's what I'm saying. So let's move on now. Next year is your elections. What are the plans in place to guarantee that he's re-elected?
Well, we are sure that Soludo will be re-elected. He will be running on the strength of his sterling performance and achievements. And these achievements are already screaming to the high heavens, speaking for themselves. And I wish Channel's headquarters will come down to Anambra on a projector and see for themselves. And the Anambra are beginning to appreciate more and more that their governor has exceeded all expectations. We have enough on ground and many more. In fact, you can go from sector to sector to see the laudable sterling achievements of Governor Soludo and why he has to be re-elected based on the strength of his achievements. So we are not actually looking at the election, as a matter of fact. We are not looking at elections. We've not started talking about elections. We believe that when the time comes, we'll cross the bridge, and the bridge will be erected by his own sterling performance. Is across board. So much he has done, and so much he has done outperforming governors who have been there before him in Anambra and outside.
So all right.
On the average, he has yes.
My apologies. We're totally out of time, Mr. Mefo. I have a lot to ask. It's okay. It's okay. You serve the government. My job is to ask the questions, and I'll ask my questions based on fact, not on sentiment. So when I put questions, I know exactly what I'm saying. But I must thank you for your responses as well, and wish your government well. Mr. Mefo is the Commissioner for Information in Anambra State. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, says the federal government is making efforts at tackling the nation's security challenges. He was speaking on Channels Television's Politics Today. The minister said the National Security Advisor, the Minister of Defense, and the Chief of Defense Staff are losing sleep over the issue.
We have a border stretch of about 4,047 kilometers. That's land border. We border 4 countries, just as you know, 2 ECOWAS, 2 non-ECOWAS. And of course, Nigeria has this uniqueness, of being a nation within the Sahel and being a nation within the Gulf of Guinea. So when you look at that consideration in terms of geopolitical inclinations, you will understand. You understand why we're having this level of threat. You understand, in Nigeria. What I think leadership is about is taking responsibility for what is on, for situations on ground, and finding a solution and making sure that Nigerians can sleep with their 2 eyes closed. And that is why I'm telling you, nobody is resting. Not the NSA, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, not him, not the Minister of Defense, not the Chief of Defense Staff, not the DS. Nobody is sleeping. We are working. This security issue, it's a major issue of national concern. And I will not sit here and refuse to take responsibility for the security on behalf of the president of Nigeria. The president is sensitive to these issues. We came May 29. We all know the situations across board. Yes, have we got it to where we want to get to? The answer is no. But are we where we were last year? The answer is a no. So we have made progress, and the progress is steady, and we are making progress. And we are giving that same assurance to people that, listen, we understand the mandate that Nigerians have given to this government. And the mandate is a sleepless one. It's a mandate that tells us not to close our eyes until Nigerians can sleep.
All right, that's the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo. And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Ozonwa. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.